Okay, so I understand I look completely ridiculous, but this was kind of like the only helmet I had that was kind of like a racing helmet, so I decided to just go with it, especially since one of the helmets I was using was a Punisher helmet inside this game, so it kind of worked out, but gosh, it's getting really hard to breathe in here. So, yeah, Gran Turismo Sport is now delisted, no longer an online-only game, and has been discontinued online digitally. So, how is the game now? I'm going to get this off and then we'll get into the review. So, yeah, if any of you were following, kind of at the end of last year, 2023, they announced that they were taking Gran Turismo Sport offline and putting most of their focus on Gran Turismo 7. And a lot of people were a little disappointed at that, but, you know, it had been around for quite a few years. And a lot of people were kind of wondering, what's going to happen with it? Is it going to be like completely unplayable? Is the online marketplace called Brand Central going to be removed? Like, they did have some answers, but it was a little confusing as to what all was going to be removed and kept. And today I'm going to go over that with you guys and let you know what exactly all was removed and kept. And so, what's gone? Well, Sport Mode is completely removed along with the lobby. So all online multiplayer interaction, racing, and whatnot, those are completely gone. You can't even click on them. Another thing that's unfortunate is the livery editor is completely gone as well. Decals, car liveries, helmet and suit liveries are gone. Even ones you download. So I did have this one livery suit where like I was wearing like a skeleton black suit. I had the skull helmet and skeleton hands. I no longer have this. I didn't remove them at all. They were on my character before the last update, and after the last update, they all got removed. Along with any custom paint jobs on any cars you might have had before this game came out, all gone. Now, if you've never gotten this game before, that's not any skin off your back. But if you have played this game before, it's like, yeah, I had this really cool, like, cherry red paint job on one of my cars. It's gone. The only paint options that are available is if you buy a new car, you do get to choose the color. But after you get it, I could not find any way of changing a color after the fact with my cars. So that unfortunately was removed, and probably they should have allowed you to at least have fun with it by keeping it. Another thing gone is up in the top corner, there's My Menu, which has your log, your racing stats, and also life log and friend list. That's completely gone as well. You can't look at any of your stats whatsoever. Another thing that's gone is like the daily driving quest or goal you can do. Basically, if you drive like 15 miles a day in the game, you get a free random car. Sometimes it's a piece of junk, other times it's like one of the most expensive cars in the game, but it's always random, and usually like half the time you get a car you don't have already. A lot of times you do get a replica of a car you already have, but it was still nice. It was a good incentive to like keep you coming back when this was still online, to just drive a couple of maps. You kind of learned which maps had the longest routes, so you only have to play like once, and you get that 15-mile goal, whatnot. And so that unfortunately is gone, and it would have been nice if they kept that in as well. The mileage exchange is also gone. This was kind of a thing where with certain points you could buy custom vehicles that aren't available in the Brand Central portion of the game, and also you can get custom rims and custom unique paint jobs or liveries for your cars that weren't available through normal means. This really sucks because while you do get to keep all the cars that you got from the mileage exchange, all of the liveries that I bought from the mileage exchange are gone because the livery editor is gone. So I can't use any of those custom liveries that I bought through the mileage exchange. If anyone knows of a way you can access the livery editor after the update, let me know. I would hate to turn people off this because they can't customize their paint when they actually can. Now, one of the more relieving things, one of the more positive things about this offline move is that they did keep the Brand Central, the in-game store, available to people playing offline. That was one of the dumbest things with the original game, was that you had to go online to be able to buy a new car in-game with the in-game currency. It wasn't like you could buy this car with real money. I mean, you could through the PlayStation Store, but in-game, there was nothing saying, like, yeah, you have to use real currency with this. You could use in-game currency that you went through races on the Brand Central. And that was one of the biggest concerns, was once this goes completely offline, are they going to remove the Brand Central? Thankfully, they did not. So you can still play to your heart's extent and rack up points through playing offline and buy cars that way through the Brand Central. And that was one of the dumbest things with the original game. It was one of the most negative aspects, was the always online requirement. Yeah, the always online requirement really hurt this game, especially when it was still online. Like, a lot of races were online only through sport mode, but even the campaign, if you wanted to make any points or mileage points or currency off of a race with the campaign that you can play offline, if you wanted to get any of that, you had to be online before you finished the race. You could start off the race offline, pause the game, put your system online, and then finish the race and then get those points. But it was just some stupid additional step to force people online so that they would participate more in the online aspect of the game, and it really hurt this game. I would say probably this game is a lot better now that that is all gone. So I'm really glad that they got rid of the stupid online requirement with this game. And you can now progress offline with the delisting of this game. You can play the arcade and campaign modes, and you can get offline points, offline currency to buy new cars, and it works how it should have worked from the beginning. Yeah, GT League was probably the main aspect that I played through this game, because it's kind of like 4 leagues with different groups of racing, and if you can like beat some of those, the payout's really impressive. So like the base first league you play as, you only get like 10,000 credits or whatnot for winning a match, but with some of the later leagues, if you win, you get like 100,000 credits for getting first place in that one race. Now, of course, they get progressively harder, but still, it's like, if you do want to unlock some of those higher level cars that cost like 20 million units to buy in-game currency, you're going to want to play through the higher GT League games. And the great thing is, anyone you beat, you can play it over and over again. So that's great. The arcade mode allows you to create more custom racing experiences, whether you want like 100 laps, or if you want it where you actually have to worry about fuel and whatnot. There's a lot of customization with the arcade mode. So if you're not entirely happy with how the game is based, you can remove certain things that help. You can remove certain breaks. There's a lot of customization you can get into with this game if you really want to. And then there's VR. And this was one of the main reasons why I wanted to get this game. It was for the VR portion of this. Honestly, because of the online only requirements this game had at the time of its release to when they delisted it, I would not have gotten this game, but I got it because of the VR. And important note on the VR, it's not for the entire game. There's a like separate mode where all you can do is race against one opponent with like one lap. Now you can race on any track you unlock, which is really cool, and you can use any vehicle you unlock, which is really cool, but the mode is quite limited, and that's because this is like a prototype mode. It's a proof of concept, really. It was never meant to overtake the entire game like some people were hoping when it was first announced. And while it's unfortunate, it is really cool being able to move around the outside of a 1-to-1 scale Lamborghini or highly expensive concept car, a McLaren, a Corvette, and kind of look at life size. And it's really cool to be able to sit in a fully recreated, interior cockpit driving, carriage of one of these exotic cars. It's really awesome. It's really cool looking around, and absolutely, it's really awesome. It's really cool looking all around the inside of the interior of one of these cars, and honestly, it's probably the best aspect of this game is the ability to race in VR. And yeah, it's blurry, the view distance is terrible, but this again was like a proof of concept prototype, and the fact that you were able to look at any car in 3D virtual reality was really awesome. You can turn on the headlights. I think you can open the hoods and doors to the car, if I'm not mistaken. I might be confusing that with Forza Motorsport, but you can walk around the outside. I wasn't able to find a mode where you could sit on the inside of the car without being in a race. That was something a little bit unfortunate, is like a C7 Corvette, which is like a dream car of mine. Being able to say that's really cool, but then like just sitting there and it's like, oh wait, no, the guy's already taken off. Now there is also a time trial mode where you can race in VR, if I'm not mistaken, and that doesn't involve you racing our character, it just involves you racing yourself trying to beat your own time. So that's kind of cool. Again, I cannot stress how awesome it is to actually be able to sit and like move around one of these cars in a 1-to-1 scale environment. I mean, it's really awesome to be able to sit inside the cabin of a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a Ford GT 2017. I mean, oh boy, that one's really cool. And so it's a really awesome mode. If you do get PlayStation VR 1, I highly recommend you get this game just to be able to experience this mode.
In addition, I've been able to play this on the PlayStation Vita via remote play, and I understand it's an old technique, but it's still really a cool feature, and just want to like see how this worked on remote play. I just wanted to see if this was something that like honestly would work for someone playing this portably, because it's not portable any other way. Yeah, like this would be this and PlayStation Portal, the only way to play this game portably, as far as I know, without doing like serious jailbreaking on like other things, or pirating. I mean, it's kind of fun playing it portably, but it's not like a must play on a portable system. Like this isn't going to be the way I play this. I'd rather play it on the big screen, because it's running at a much lower resolution, no high dynamic range, and plus you can't do the VR aspects portably. But it's kind of cool if you have to go to the bathroom, or you're going to a place that has really excellent internet, then this is a pretty fun, entertaining way to do it, I guess, if you want to get that daily allotment, which no longer is available anymore.
Now, playing this game in 2D is pretty cool. Visually, this game is stunning, especially if you're playing on a PS4 Pro or a PlayStation 5, they did have some 4K enhancements for this game, and this game is a looker, especially at night. Oh my gosh, this game is gorgeous at night, especially some of the Tokyo environments when you're driving at night and seeing like the streetlights passing overhead while you're driving, both in first person and third person mode. Seeing some of the reflections on the vehicles is truly special. I mean, this is such a gorgeous game, and it's a last gen game at this point, and it still looks great. Now, one thing that's really cool is if you get a chance to actually drive in real life one of the cars available in this game, it's pretty cool, like seeing the similarities to driving in game and then like the following day driving the actual car, and it's like, okay, this is kind of cool actually, especially if you're listening to the same exact soundtrack. That's something I always do with every racing game, is I look for a car that I have driven or I'm currently driving in that game, and then I will try to get the soundtrack moved over to that vehicle so that the following day where I'm not playing the current racing game, I can at least listen to the soundtrack while driving the car, and you just kind of get this weird, surreal feeling with said vehicle. And so, now the downside, this game is pretty limited on the vehicles you can actually obtain. There's like somewhere around 338. Some of those are kind of like variations of the same vehicle. There's a lot of 2015 Mustangs that they have. So just keep that in mind. It might be a little hard to find some of the vehicles, since a lot of these are nice exotic concept cars that would cost $500,000 to get your hands on. But there are a couple of more affordable cars, like there's a 2015 Mustang, there's a couple of Fiats, a couple of Toyotas. So, you know, there is some cars that are available to the average person in real life. It's really cool when you get to get behind the seat of one of the cars that you're driving in with this game. So ultimately, this is a fun racing game. It has some serious problems that have since been fixed with its latest update. Is this worth getting now that it's delisted and offline only? Absolutely yes. I would say it's more worth getting now that you don't have to worry about the stupid online only requirements of this game. So anyway, that's been my review of Gran Turismo Sport. My name's Chris O'Connell with 11 Hour Reviews, and that will be all for today.